So let's say assignment 4. We have assignment 4. Um, so it is about understanding sudo command and managing users. So first of all, step 1 is to understand sudo command that allows permitted users to execute command as superuser or another user specified by the security policy. To see a list of users uh, who can use uh, who can use sudo run following the sudo command. Okay, we should run this command first. Let's run this command. Let's open our Ubuntu. Okay, we should type our password for this one, and here we can see who can use our. So this must be edited with sudo command as a root. For example, in our here also in the requirements, uh, in order to which users or groups allowed to use sudo do not edit or this file directly without using this with sudo command. Actually, we can use this kind of etc sudo here's command to change it directly. But the problem with uh, this line actually is that we are not able to change. For example, if we have some kind of typing mistake, we cannot change the result of that mistake. So we cannot fix that. So we will not able to use our sudo, and that's the problem. That's why it's recommended to use with sudo this command. Here we can see all is working. Default everything is working. Ghost, MD, include directives. Okay, next one. Step 2. Adding a new user. In previous assignments, we actually created new user. So let's kind of do it again. So create a user using add user command, and this command creates a new user with a home directory prompts for additional information. So we should run first this command. Okay, let's add new user. It can be anything. For example, sudo, I don't know, add user. What kind of new user? Let's say team user as our new user. So adding team user, info selection, new password. So we should assign new password for this user. Let's maybe keep it easy. Let's say routine. Yeah. So here we can see that we added team our new user, which in our case I name it as a team user, and so actually it creates a new user with a home directory, and it asks it for password. We can see it asks it for password and some kind of details about like full name, room number, work phone, and others. So next step, we can see. Next step is granting sudo privileges. So to give newly created user sudo privileges and add them to sudo group. Sudo user mode, and we can use this command to run this. Okay. Um, let's give our new user some messages. Sudo user mode ag sudo team user. Let's try this command. Okay. So in order to check whether this our command is working or not, we can run sudo l command to check if it's working or not. Let's run this command to check, and let's see team user. So here we can see that it is working. Everything is working. Here is team user on Ubuntu matching defaults and entries users. So we can see that it is working. And next step. So step 4, resetting forgotten password. If you forget password for user, like including our root user, you can reset by booting into recovery mode or using passvd command. We'll reset if you don't forget. So let's imagine that we forget forget password for our users. So in our case, it is, let's write this command first. Passwords. It is password and our username we just created. Let's say we forgot our, let's say, password. Yes, sudo password. No, wait. We can create a new password, and let's see. So how is the problem? Let's try it again. So we missed this part. Team user. Okay. Okay. Let's write new password here, and so we can see our password for user for our team user for our new user is actually we updated our password successfully. Here it says password updated successfully. So next one is the root sudo root for root password reset if allowed. Um, let's try this one. Second one also sudo sudo. So it is allowed. We can change our password. So we can see we even updated for the root of our let's say Ubuntu, which is in our case it is vbox user, and we updated our password successfully. We can see here. Um, and next the user, including the home directory used following. So we can use following comment. Let's say. So let's try this. Sudo del a user remove. Let's say what we have. What kind of accounts we have? I use student. Let's say. Here we can see it's removing the files and looking for just to remove all the um, user, which is new student we created earlier for assignment 3. So it is deleted all the users are related to this. And last but not least, we have managing user and group information. So we have to use um, what we have to use our so we have to use ID command to check if the user or and group information for specific user. Let's say let's try in our case ID. Let's try team user, which we earlier created. So here is we can see the ID for team user. This shows that user's ID, UID, and it is we have group ID, which is GID, which is team user, and other group memberships, and we have other group memberships. Now, for example, we can try with another one. Let's try with VBox user. Let's try this. We can see we have user ID for VBox user. We have group ID, and we have other group like memberships like this. So it was display user ID group as components of root. So we send this one and question why it is important is it important to manage sudo privileges carefully in multi-user environment. So basically, for example, we've seen in this situation earlier, it is incredibly important to manage very carefully sudo privileges because, for example, here also we can see where it was um, it was here. Okay, let's go to back to this. For example, even in step one, we clearly want to change the kind of priority priority of sudo. So we use this command to see the list of users who can use actually sudo command. And the funny thing is that even in here we can see that there is a kind of um, saying that we cannot use sudo directly uh, to edit this file without using sudo. So why it is that? Because of security concerns about that, because as we know, granting like someone who we didn't know sudo access can have a lot of change in our like say operating system because they can delete our files, they can delete some kind of a lot of things that we need, or they can even if there are some kind of hackers or something like that, they can install some kind of viruses or which will harm our um, like let's say PC, and that's why it's first of all it's usually it's in like security concerns about that. That's why it's not recommended to use pseudo privilege. Recommended to use pseudo privileges very carefully in multi-user environment. And a very funny thing is that even if we know it's really difficult to know. Doesn't matter what your PC, doesn't matter what kind of laptop you have, and whatever it is, it's really difficult to know who actually changed the permission, who changed like who deleted this kind of file. It's really difficult to know because we have multiple users. For example, in our case, also we have multiple users. It's really difficult to know who exactly changes this kind of thing. And here, stop managing. And second one is what are security implications of granting unnecessary pseudo access to users? I think as we earlier saw, we have to check, we have to use vsudo command if we want to edit a file um, indirectly, because if we want to change it directly, we could, it is possible to change, but the problem, of course, is in ourselves because we can make mistakes. The small mistake with, for example, typing mistake can cost us not being able to use our sudo command anymore. And the tragic thing is that we cannot even fix that. That's why I think we have to be careful uh, using this kind of commands, first of all. And even if we want to change it, we have to change with vsudo kind of document. And of course, it's like every other thing, we have to give this kind of permission, like sudo, to someone we trust, like 100%. So even if they delete something, we know that it was something bad, so they deleted like intentionally for the good of us. So that's it, I think.